It's called Boy Number 32, and it's about a boy who doesn't have a name. He's known by a number. When he was left at the orphanage, he was entered in the book as Boy Number 32, and he's known as Battis. It's the story of his adventures set against the backdrop of Mumbai. When our book starts, he's been buried alive. This bomb has gone off, the orphanage has collapsed, and Battis is buried deep underground. He's rescued, and he becomes very important because he's the only one who's seen the terrorist who's placed the bomb. So the police want him as a prime witness, and the terrorist wants him dead. So he sets off trying to save his life, and he has a whole series of adventures. Well, what the book really is about the stories that don't get told. When I was in Mumbai, I would always take the last train back. And on the train would be all the odds and ends. There'd be the eunuchs, there'd be the people who were selling things on the trains, and there'd always be the street urchins and beggars. And I'd chat with those urchins, and I came to admire them greatly, because every time they put out their hand to beg, they're faced with rejection. And yet they smile and they laugh and they hang out with you, tell you stories. And I thought their stories deserved telling as well. So this book tells that story. It tells the story of the marginalized, of beggars, of orphans, of children who don't have anyone who loves them enough to give them a name. Mumbai was my 21st birthday present. My father asked me, what do you want? And I said, I want to leave Calcutta and go to Mumbai because I had these stars in my eyes about Mumbai, and I did. And it was wonderful. You know, for a single woman, it was the first time that you weren't harassed continuously. When you went out to work, you were taken seriously. You walked onto a set and you were equal. It was wonderful. It was so empowering. I loved that city. It's also the city that broke my heart, because when the first series of bomb blasts happened, I saw Mumbai change. I saw the fear come into Mumbai. I saw the coldness come into Mumbai. And I think after that first series of bomb blasts really is when I made up my mind that I would be leaving Mumbai. It took me some time. But I still love the city, and I wanted to write a tribute to it. So that's why the city is in the book. And again, it's about loving Mumbai. It's about having your heart broken by Mumbai as well. You know, if you're reading a book in English in India, you already belong to a very privileged bunch. It means you have access to education and education in English. And I thought that it was important that our privileged children who go to school also learn that there are other kids who don't have that privilege. I thought it was also important that they learn that the only thing that separates a child who has parents, who has love, who has a home, who knows he'll get 3 meals a day, the only thing that separates him from a child who doesn't have any of that is luck. You're just lucky that you were born into the family that you were. And I thought kids should think about that. I thought it was important for them to think about all those that they cast as the other, all those who they see as less than them. I think stories is the best way to approach things like that. And I think if our children don't think about these things, we're going to grow into an India that has a hard heart. Empathy is really important, and it's really important for children to learn that early, and to learn it especially for their fellow human beings. Around us, we see a world that's getting more radicalized, where there's less and less patience, there's less and less tolerance, and teaching our kids all of that is really important. So all those themes are very deliberate, but I didn't want to be preachy, so I wanted to take the tack that kids most enjoy these days, which is like watching a film. So the book is very much like a film. I put everything in there. There's chase sequences, action sequences. There's even an item number. So I said, let's entertain them, and then let's get them to think with both their minds and their hearts. Well, I'm a Bollywood girl. I write films, I write television, and I love Hindi films. I think nothing matches our storytelling style with its songs and its dances. It's great fun. So when I was writing a book, I was sure that I wanted to get that energy, that kind of fun storytelling into the book. Also, you know, the books that I write, I try to write the books that I can't make as a film. You see, some films don't get made, especially children's films. Our kids are all watching stuff that comes out of Hollywood. and children's picture budgets in India can't compete. So we can't make a Harry Potter because we never had the budget for it. So I said, let's put it in a book. So it is a film and a book actually, and I've had a lot of fun with it. Um, uh, I don't think it'll make it to the big screen, but I'm glad that it's reading like a film on the page. Wonderful, that's what I meant to do. Well, abroad, young adult is a very established genre. We're very new in India, and up till now, for so far, a young adult has actually been Chetan Bhagat, or it has been soppy love stories. So we are actually now defining the genre. Uh, and I think we shouldn't be defining it by soppy love stories. I think what young adults are at a stage in their life where they're dealing with a sense of identity, a sense of self, they're stepping out in the world, they're having their first engagement with opposite sex. There's a whole lot of turmoil in their lives. It's when a lot of their thinking is being shaken up. And I think we need themes that feed into that thinking, that help them identify who they are, that help them think across many issues. I think that's important. You need to think about issues when you're defining yourself, otherwise how do you define yourself? By default, you'll define yourself as advertising or marketing defines you. That's a terrible thing to do. So we are just starting out with young adult, and I think we need to see more books that do that, that push the difficult, uncomfortable thinking themes to our children. I think it's very important that kids read that. Of course, it's important you entertain them as well. But I'm glad it's starting to happen. I wish it happened a little bit faster. I'd like to see a lot less love stories and a lot more edgy books that tackle issues of which we have so many in India. Well, I've been very sneaky. I've kind of put it as a film and a book, so I hope they enjoy that. What I hope they like really is the main character, Battis, because just in the act of liking him, they'll have learnt a little bit of empathy because he is not your typical hero. He's a child from the roads. He's not the kind of kid that they'll hang out with. So I really hope they like him, and I hope that liking in itself teaches them to expand their hearts a little bit. I hope there are enlightened parents and enlightened teachers and librarians out there who can use the book to start conversations about privilege, about why do some people have so much and some have nothing. Social inequality is a huge problem in India today. I mean, we have the rise of the Naxals because those with absolutely nothing will eventually turn to arms. And if we don't have these conversations, India is going to be a very scary place in a few years' time. So perhaps parents, teachers could use this book to talk about the marginalized, to talk about those who have nothing when we have a lot. They could use it perhaps to make their children think a little bit about all the things that they have that nobody else does.